Hey, Asgard here, and it's time to talk about this blast of an episode. Well, musical blast and musical bullet hell that we had here. Was a small training arc. I thought we were gonna have a bigger training arc here with Okarun learning a bit more about his power slash Turbo Granny's powers, which this was just a glimpse into it. He definitely did get a power up, but there's more to that. We're gonna talk about it. Ira was great also, especially her reaction towards the end, and I'm excited for next week, and we're going to get to that also towards the end of the episode. But anyway, let's get into it and talk about it. Now, picks up straight from last week with the composers being angry. They're triggered by Turbo Granny starting them up, so to say, and she instantly puts the blame and snitches on Ira and Okarun. Yeah, it was them. So we have the attacks happening, the musical notes going after them, bomb notes, bullet hell, like that entire, like 80-70% of the episode was just an insanity, non-stop full action of dodging and movement and going back and forth between them. And those ghosts, I like their voices and their quirks, their personalities there, and showing a bit the difference, how we learn about rhythm. And Ira was able to dodge those notes, but she wasn't really able to fight back. Meanwhile, Okarun couldn't dodge there and actually gets hit. Even the comedic hits were great on Turbo Granny there. But he still has this complex with him, Okarun, still feeling like he got cocky a bit with everything he's been through, but he's still weak. I think he's a bit too harsh on himself and can kind of relate to that. I do that a lot of things in personal life when I make mistakes, when I don't do well enough into something and I know I could have done better or more. I actually am overly critical of myself also, and I put myself way too down, sometimes way too much here, so to negative effects, and that's not so healthy. So I'm not talking about anime here, I get it from Okarun's point of view, but sometimes I'm way too critical of myself also. But anyway, Okarun having that feeling here, and Turbo Granny smacking him over the head to focus on the rhythm of the music. And I was surprised when Okarun said he doesn't really listen to music in general, except the recent one of the best songs we've had with Hunting Soul there. Man, that scene, I'm still playing that song on repeat. I have it saved there, and I put it on blast from time to time. I also saw there's some weird copyright issues happening with it in some regions or whatever's going on there, so that's weird, but hey, stuff like that always happens, so I hope it gets resolved, because that song is awesome here. Even the English dub one, like the English dub one is actually good, but I do like the Japanese one a lot more. And like I said, if you guys haven't watched, go ahead, watch Bastard. The vocalist is the same VA as Dark Schneider here. I talked more about that into that episode. But then we have him remembering Hunting Soul, the song, and actually gets into the rhythm. He remember how he got caught into the rhythm of the music there, and Ira gets saved by Okarun when he finally started moving according to the rhythm, to his own rhythm, a music, a song that he likes. And I like the way the power works here. Last time when we had this explanation with rhythm, I kind of more related it a bit to turn-based games, how many actions you have into a turn. I'm not good with music, but I like music a lot also, and I know music is the universal language and speaks with pretty much everything here. I was happy when Okarun finally it clicked for him. When you have that moment and something clicks for you, it's great. But the non-stop bullet hell action still continued. The ghosts got angrier and angrier, turned into a choir, symphony and opera, everything at the same time. They got zerged and swarmed by illusions, people out of the mouth there, and Ira stayed behind to find those giants, and that kick she did with one of the giants that was summoned there were so satisfying here. But they were getting swarmed. They were able to get out a bit of it thanks to Ira and her powers with the air. But Okarun goes straight for the musicians. Like, it's hard. This entire episode was very much focused on the action here. There wasn't a lot of dialogue, plot points, I'll say, is very much action focused here, so I'm blasting a bit through it, to say the least. It's more of an experience to watch it than to mostly talk about it. It was great, but also like, what the fuck am I watching? It felt like an LSD trip there, with the musicians, notes coming to life, people spewing other people from their mouth, their and angry composers and musicians here. But while Okarun went after them, the acceleration was great, and when he sped through to the musicians and bowing to them a bit, kind of defeating them there, they win. And that was just an insane movement show, and they cooked with the animation, the camera movement, and everything. This was a blast here, and also reminded me a bit of when Karon accelerated. It reminded me of the scene in Blood Blockade Battlefront, whereas the series it needs to be back. But this was a small training arc, trial by fire or trial by music in this case, and Okarun thanks Aira very bluntly, directly, and she blushes. She she didn't know how to react, what to do. She was like internally, hey, where is my usual self? Just say something, act cutesy, and she couldn't. She was just stunned, locked there, to say the least. But after this, the bickering Aira and Turbo Granny is always great, and thanks to Turbo Granny, they activate the musicians again. She regrets that. But the line that she said here, saying this is just a small dose, a glimpse into her real power. I'm curious, when Okarun gets more access or more control or more gets used to her power, what's that going to mean for him here. But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for when that happens. Now I'm curious to see the Okarun power up, but before we talk about that, we have to talk what comes next. We go back home when we see the group, especially Manjiro, pushing hard for Gigi and Evil Eye to go through the exorcism again to get rid of Gigi. And I know, like I said, both sides are correct. I'm more into Granny sides, making him part of the family, Gigi wanting to protect also Evil Eye. But you also gotta accept that this is very dangerous, poses a lot of dangers, not just for Gigi, but for everybody else. And Manjiro was pushing a lot, and he already summoned back Hayashi. Sorry if I'm butchering the name here, the song, to perform the exorcism again. And he was very pushy about it, to say the least, and even guilting Gigi into it to do it there. But before everybody could say anything, Okarun and Aira shows up, and Okarun, I like how determined and serious he is right now. He summoned Gigi outside like a confrontation, like those cowboy movies. Hey, get out, and we need to have a duel and solve this. And he wants to beat Evil Eye. But here, what I liked was when characters admit their weakness, they're honest, but also want to push forward, get better. Also, reminded me a bit of the speech from ReZero in season 3. Man, moments like that hit quite hard. The series is not yet there for me how ReZero is, but I appreciate moments like this when characters are honest with their flaws, with their shortcomings, but still want to do the right thing there. And him saying wants to beat Evil Eye and admitting, especially in front of Momo, saying he was angry when Evil Eye assaulted her, went after her there, very dangerous with him. But also the moment that was the best part of here was when he talked to Gigi, telling him, I'll make sure to protect your will to protect Evil Eye. Like, even if he doesn't agree with it, even if he might want to do things differently, you're going to support your friend and do what he wants, help him into what he wants to achieve. Or at least that's what I got from it. You don't have to agree with somebody, but you have to support them if you care about them here. But also you have to put the beat down on Evil Eye. Let's be honest. Put him into shape. I think he's gonna join the group at some point, probably something similar a bit with Turbo Granny, but it's gonna be a bit harder to get it to that point. And then Aira throws water on Gigi to transform him, and then we have the Okarun versus or Turbo Okarun versus Evil Eye Gigi rematch, and the episode ends, and I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have to wait until next week. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And probably are gonna get the conclusion for this arc and see what comes next. We still have a missing ball and so much with the world to discover, but this episode, LSD trip, music, and yeah, definitely a trip of an episode. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about it. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Dandadan. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye bye.